Oh, good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this Tuesday edition, a Taco Bout It Tuesday, if you
Taco
will,
Bout it Tuesday.
according to Mr. Bruce Juno over there. It's the regular fan show, hosted by the fans, for the fans, back at it on this fine Tuesday morning. Big weekend in sports, and we're going to break it all down for you, starting with the introduction of my friend, Mr. Bruce Juno. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Well, we're doing good, Vinny. How are we today? We got a new mic over on your side of
Yes,
the.
yes, we are. We are indeed moving on up in the world. Got the AirPod in as a backup, just in
It's
case.
got it back. Yeah, I got the
But yeah,
backups.
we're rocking and
Well,
rolling.
not the backups, but we took this out of the situation. It didn't make the cut. It hasn't been making the cut.
It officially got voted off the island.
Yeah, exactly. We sent it home early, but
It's all right. Hey, what are you gonna do? But yeah, we're
exactly.
testing out a new mic. Hopefully, audio is sounding all good, and we're gonna keep on moving. I'm looking at getting a desk, hopefully, for like right here in front of me. Set up a nice desk so I'm not, you know, if the people could see, I got a little like stand up table, a little like TV table in the middle of my room. That's my regular fan show setup. So
Don't lie.
looking
You
into
definitely have a couple cardboard boxes just stacked on top of each other. Let's be real
yeah,
here.
exactly. So looking into getting a desk soon. So hopefully we'll be improving the setup week by week. But thank you everybody for tuning in. As I mentioned, it was a busy weekend in sports. NFL divisional round, national championship was last night. NBA, of course, MLB free agency, a couple of big names coming off the board, and of course, NFL coaching carousel. We see the big first big domino starting to fall
Yeah.
here. As I guess we'll open with that because we can talk natty and divisional round whenever, but we'll open with Ben Johnson, officially the new Chicago Bears head coach. And I don't know about you, Bruce, but I think this is the best case scenario for Caleb Williams, best case scenario for the Chicago Bears. And Caleb Williams might be better than Bo Nix by the time it's all said and done.
Well, I wouldn't go that far necessarily. I mean, realistically,
I
if
just I
like,
just see Zach say talk about Bo Nix, so of course I had to do
oh,
that for him.
what's up, Hawk? Yeah, no, I definitely think it's one of the better moves that the Bears could make. The Bears because Eberflus sucked. He was
He was
like
so bad.
pardon my very to the point statement, but Eberflus was awful. And moving ahead, obviously they fired him middle of the season. First time they fired him or
Yeah,
fired a
first
head
time
coach in the
in
middle of the season, and
yeah in team history.
yeah, and so they got that right, and then they haven't been getting much right as of late. But I feel like Ben Johnson is the right call for the Bears. They need to get going offensively. As I mean, their defense is okay. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not great, but
Not the worst.
it doesn't need as much work as the offense does, especially when the offense has so many weapons. Keenan Allen, DJ
Hmm.
Moore, Roma Dunze, Cole Kmet. Like, they have the weapons, and they're still have been crap.
Yeah, well, I mean, now they got an offensive mastermind calling the plays. So we saw what he was able to do with the Detroit Lions offense. I mean, last season they were first in points per game, first in yards per game, first in touchdowns per drive, first in red zone percentage, first in pretty much every stat you could look at was this Lions offense the last year or two under Ben Johnson. So he's certainly gonna elevate Caleb Williams' game. And the biggest thing for me is you saw with the Detroit Lions how good their offensive line was this past year. Obviously, struggled in the postseason, but at first they had one of the best offensive lines in the league. And you see that in their running game. And what does that do? That makes life that much easier for Jared Goff. So with Ben Johnson coming in, if he takes, sole focus on the offensive line for this offense, they got receivers, they got a tight end, they got a running back, they got everything but the guys up front. Focus on solely O line this offseason and build that up to protect Caleb Williams, and you will see a much better Chicago Bears team next year, especially with Ben Johnson and his mastermind of trick plays. They'll be just fine. Caleb will be just fine. He'll learn, he'll grow, and get better each week. But yeah, I don't think there was a better candidate out there for the Chicago Bears. Even if they ended up with Mike Vrabel, who was probably the next best option out there, I still think it's not the right fit for them. Ben Johnson was the perfect fit, perfect guy they needed to elevate Caleb Williams. And who knows? I mean, the NFC North was already really good this year, but now next year, I mean, the Chicago Bears were the only mediocre team in that division. Now we'll have to see. I mean, every team is going to be back. Packers, Lions, Vikings, they'll all be back next year. Can Chicago make a real shakeup in the division? I don't know. It might be a little too early to tell, but
we'll have to see, obviously, because we don't know what's happening with the Vikings and Sam Darnold. We don't know what's going on necessarily in Green Bay because the second half of the season looked like a dumpster fire. But I also wouldn't get ahead of myself on these trick plays. I would wait for the Ben Johnson trick plays in Chicago until, a couple weeks into the season.
Yeah, let's get the regular plays down first
I was
before
about to say, I don't know
trying to get fancy.
That Bears offense knew more than 5 plays, or at least could run more than 5 plays, because this season just has been atrocious for them. But hey, props to them. My buddy Beef, he's a Bears fan. I hope Ben Johnson brings him at least a winning season. But yeah, it's I don't know.
There's certainly expectations.
Yeah. Ben Johnson, he's been great. Everyone knows he's been great. The Lions have been great. It's the perfect move for the Bears. Perfect fit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So he's, kind of the first big domino, if you will, besides Vrabel, of course. And now, where does everybody else end up? Does Aaron Glenn leave the Lions as well? And now they got to replace both their coordinators. Where does Brian Flores end up? Does he leave Minnesota for a head coaching job? Who do the Dallas Cowboys replace Mike McCarthy with? Who do the Jets bring in for their new GM? There's still a lot of questions yet to be answered. And now that we've seen Ben Johnson off the board, we're going to start seeing, just like in free agency, the dominoes are falling. We're going to see more and more and more. And I'm sure by the time we go live again, Bruce, on Thursday morning, we will probably see at least one or two more of these names off the board.
100%. I mean, it's that time. You know what I mean? It's that time for teams to start bringing in new coaches, bringing in new whatnot. Because obviously, everything's starting now. Because it's playoffs. It's coming. It's Final Four. It's that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that time. And Oksano, you are right. Literally anybody would be better than Mike McCarthy. Yeah, you're probably right. Last I heard, Brian Schottenheimer was the betting favorite for the Cowboys' new head coaching position, their current offensive coordinator. So
not Coach Prime?
No, but Coach Prime is no longer the betting favorite. I still don't think Coach Prime happens. There's no way he leaves Colorado. But I don't know, for whatever reason, people in the media seem to think that if Jerry Jones called Deion Sanders and said, hey, we want to make you the head coach, he would just drop everything in Boulder, Colorado, and take the job and go to the Dallas Cowboys. I don't see that happening. I mean, I've said it multiple times before. He just got a 5-star quarterback. Yep. He's not going to leave him in the dust in Colorado. He's still got his other son, Shiloh, playing at safety. And he's not going to go – he's not going to play – or excuse me, he's not going to coach in the NFL if he's not coaching – as I keep throwing things. I don't know what's going on this morning. I don't know what's happening here. I'm not right. I woke up too late. I'm still finding my groove. But Coach Prime, he's not coaching a team unless he's coaching his son. And New York Giants don't need a head coach yet. Cleveland Browns, Tennessee Titans don't need a head coach right now. Yeah, no, somehow he'll find a way to make it happen. I don't know if he would be a good NFL head coach either. It took him a year in Boulder to get that program going the right direction, and they did look much better this past year. But when it comes to the X's and O's of it all, I think as a locker room motivator and leader, Coach Prime does a great job. He does a great job at bringing attention to his team, a great job at getting them in the spotlight and making sure that they're prepared for adulthood.
Talking about Coach Prime or Jerry Jones?
No, Jerry Jones does nothing but sit on his ass and count his money.
Well, you're talking about the media, so
yeah, you're right. But Coach Prime isn't doing it to put more money in his pocket. He's doing it to put those players, up on the big stage. He's doing it to give them a better opportunity. Jerry Jones just wants to be the one that that is in the spotlight. He wants to be the one that's doing the post-game interviews. He wants to be the one in complete control. And that's why the Cowboys will never win another Super Bowl under Jerry Jones, because as you know, Bruce, Jerry Jones is a freaking idiot.
Good thing you got some backup right now, because Tony's also a Cowboys fan, so you got some backup on that
one. Listen, us Cowboys fans, we're all one and the same. We all know how it goes, but NFL coaching carousel.
We talked about it last episode too, where like he can't just like when he went to Boulder, he could just bring in a whole new roster. He can't do that in the NFL.
Yeah, you can't just up and all right, where's the NIL pot? Bringing a bunch of new players. It's not going to happen. And the Cowboys, they don't exactly have the best cap space situation anyway. After they had to pay Dak, they had to pay CD. Now they got to pay Micah. They're going to have to pay guys like Deron Bland and Trayvon soon. Things are a bit interesting for the Dallas Cowboys. So, but they're also not in the playoffs. So who cares about them? It's playoff weekend. We'll start off with the divisional round as we're officially down in the Final Four, Bruce. We'll go game by game here. And
yeah, let's run it.
I was working radio yesterday, and a buddy of mine, while we were doing the show, had a quick thought about a certain segment idea, and he was like, "Well, we'll go ahead and we'll pick one big winner, one big loser from each of these teams in all these games." So I figured we could try to dabble and do that as we're going through these divisional round games. We'll start with Texans Chiefs, and I think there's one big loser that jumps out at me for the Houston Texans, that being defensive back Chris Boyd, who went viral shoving his special teams coach after the very first play of the game. I mean, that guy's, he's got to be cut today. I know D'Amico Ryans went out and said that he wasn't pushing their head or their special teams coordinator in a disrespectful way, but still, you got to know better, man.
Bro, he what?
He didn't just push him. He pushed him and he was waving the finger in his face.
Yeah, he was giving him.
He was going at him.
That was nuts.
And it was such a stupid moment for Chris Boyd. I mean, all right, cool. You made a decent play. You knocked the ball loose. Your team didn't even recover the ball.
Yep.
He got up and started running to the sideline before he even knew if the Texans recovered the ball. Takes his helmet off. I mean, you're an NFL player. There's one rule that you can never break. Don't take off your freaking helmet while you're still on the field. It's an automatic unsportsmanlike conduct. What happens? He gets hit with the unsportsmanlike conduct. And it was already a big return for Kansas City to begin with. Now you push him an extra 15 yards. And, of course, Kansas City's going to have no trouble scoring on that drive. So that's my big loser.
Respectfully. He's pushing him respectfully.
Pushing him respectfully. Yeah, right. I mean, that's my big loser for the Texans. Big winner for them, I guess. I don't know. I guess I would go with Nico Collins. I mean, he, despite not having Tank Dell or Stephon Diggs out there, he still had a solid game. He's been solid in the playoffs. And it's tough when you're the main guy and your wide receiver 2 and 3 are out with injury. Of course, the defense is going to be solely focused on you. So it's got to be hard to get those touches. Still finds a way to get 81 yards receiving and couldn't get in the end zone, but still had a solid game and proved that he could be this team's wide receiver 1 going forward. So I got to give the winner to Nico Collins of the Texans. And then for the Chiefs, I don't know, big loser. I guess I'll say Xavier Worthy. I mean, he did not have. He did have a solid. Yeah, he did have a solid game.
I'd say DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins had 1 target. I mean, Hollywood Brown had 2 targets, no receptions. I mean, I don't really, as much as it's hard to say, like,
I guess the receiving core outside of
maybe fumbles, like losing the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could point to the rushing game. They didn't run the ball well. I guess that'll be the big loser for Kansas City. They didn't run the ball well at all. Only had 50 yards rushing total for the game. I mean, part of that comes with Matt Araiza losing 18 yards on the punt safety. But even with that factored out, they'd have 68 rushing yards. It's not a very good rushing game, especially in the playoffs. So they still find ways to get the job done. And I mean, Travis Kelce, that's got to be your the big winner for
That's
the
what I was gonna
for the
say.
Chiefs. He certainly
He's
had a good
back.
game.
He's back. For all you fans of the Kansas City Chiefs, he's back. Kelsey has proved he's not gone, but he didn't have the greatest season. But it's the playoffs, so
Yeah.
obviously
Now's the real
Mahomes and
season.
Kelsey are gonna decide to be the mans again.
Yeah,
Woo.
I mean the fact that Kelsey had 117 of Mahomes' 177 yards,
Yeah,
that's pretty insane.
they
I mean,
didn't
I would have
throw it a
expected,
lot. I mean, they
yeah, I
threw
would
it
have expected
25
more
times,
yards out of
but
Mahomes.
yeah, I mean,
177. It was just a very weird game. I
it
mean,
was a
this
very weird
this
game.
Kansas City team, yeah, they're finding ways to win games, but they're not dominant like they used to be. I
Yeah,
thought
then
this would have
I mean,
been.
I don't know. I mean, their number one receivers out for the season. I mean, I don't know. It's like it's been said all year. They're just finding ways to win games.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I
it is what it
truly
is.
don't know how. And of course, you got all the discussion after the fact on the referees and the fact that Willie Anderson post game is in getting interviewed and saying that he knew it was going to be them versus the refs, and he got Troy Aikman
Yeah,
on whatever show it was talking about how Mahomes is he knows what he's doing. He's stopping on purpose and letting someone push him out of bounds to get that extra 15 yards. It's a good play on him, but that doesn't make it right. Now
yeah,
you
but
you
that
you got a real
one
problem
that
now.
I mean, obviously, like it's not like a biased thing, but like that one was just such a bad flop
I know. Yeah, that's the thing.
that
He's flopping.
Buddy straight Superman out of bounds after not even getting touched. And it's like, I mean, I get where Anderson's coming from. Like, I get it. It's tough ever since they kind of started like really cracking down on not hitting the quarterback,
Yeah.
especially out of bounds, not hitting players in general out of bounds, but like not hitting the quarterback when the quarterback's giving himself up. But the way Mahomes does it, it's just I don't know. It's you got to figure something out, you know?
Yeah, you really do. You got to get a fine in there for flopping or something because now
Yeah.
it's getting obvious at this point that the Chiefs are getting extra calls that other teams aren't getting, which isn't the problem because I mean, Bruce, you're a Patriots fan. Tom Brady would have gotten those calls. You go even further
Tom Brady's
back.
not a runner.
Yeah, but like Tom Brady did get hit a lot in his career.
Yeah.
Towards this back half when they started trying to make things safer, he got a couple calls that would go his way. But Mahomes, a guy
Yeah.
that is already playing in this more safety, whatever you want to call it, more safe era, if
Yeah.
you will. They don't let him hit the same. And the fact that he's mobile and he knows how to ease up as he's going out of bounds to get that extra 15 yards on an unsportsmanlike conduct. It's the fact that you have guys like Willie Anderson and Troy Aikman talking about it proves that you have a problem.
Yeah, and it's like I get it. Like I get it. It's part of the game. It's the way that the game is right now this season. Will they change something next season? Who knows? But the way it is this season, you hit the quarterback, whether it be out of bounds, whether it be like as he's giving himself up, whatever, they're going to give you a flag. And Mahomes has found a way to cheat the system, and it is what it is. Like you gotta
literally.
like it is. You can't necessarily hate on it this season. Hopefully they change it coming up. But it's like obviously I'm not Troy Aikman, I'm not Willie Anderson, but it's like it is dumb. Like
Yeah. Well,
the
that's
way
the
he
big thing is people used to always talk about this, but now you got guys in the league and in the in the NFL media, guys that have very important voices. Everyone knows Troy Aikman. Everyone knows that what he says, he's got, he's got thoughts behind it, and a lot of people listen. And now he's even bringing up the fact that these calls are getting out of hand.
Yeah,
that's how you know you have a
it's
real
too
problem.
much. It's too much. I get it. You hit him like you actually hit him, and it's not like, but like he's literally barely getting tapped as he's letting himself up right as he's about to go out of bounds, bracing himself to take a hit and then dive. Like that's
because
it's
damn well if they didn't try to at least push him out of bounds, he's letting up just enough that he's going to stop and stay in and go an extra 5-10 yards. You can't just not hit the guy out of bounds, but the way he does it, he gets that call every single time, and
And
it's
it's making harder on defenses too, because like think about like last season with Josh Allen, with the amount of times that he like I'm not saying it was the same situation because it's like an actual genuine play, but like he would do the fake slide and then get an extra 15, 20 yards.
yeah.
And like that's
And they
another
they
thing.
outlawed
Like
the fake slide.
yeah,
Can't do that anymore. So they clearly can make changes to stuff like this.
exactly. So it's
But
like I mean you can't I guess hate on it too much because of the fact that it's in the game this season.
yeah,
You just gotta hope going forward that it's changed because the fake slide was changed. The fake slide, you know, some
yeah,
moments
like
that some teams had, the Bills being one of the top ones because of Josh Allen kind of bringing that into the game and being like really good at it. I mean that they outlawed it and then they outlawed it, but
yeah,
he really he torched teams with that.
yeah. I mean, it's not like Mahomes is breaking any rules or anything, but it's a gray area. You know,
But it's
it's
like,
an
how do you
interesting
implement
spot.
a rule saying
Exactly.
don't
How do
stop
you?
inbounds and then take a
Yeah,
hit?
because
I,
then
I
you're leaving
think your
everything
idea
up
is the
to
best.
judgment, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I think your
that
idea
yeah,
is the well. I mean, all calls are judgment realistically, but at the same time, I think your kind of take on it is the best. Like implement some kind of fine
hmm
because there's no way to be like, okay, you can't give yourself up right as you're about to go out of bounds and then take a hit because
yeah.
like you can't tell somebody not to take a hit. It's not like the whole point of the game. Like
Yeah, it gets real weird trying to say like, listen, you can't purposely stop and let someone push you out of bounds just to get the hit.
yeah, because
I either
then
run out of bounds or like I don't know, maybe like tell them not to let up. Like the rule is either you got to sprint out of bounds or something. Like I don't know what they can do to kind of put a stop to it. But the of course fans are always going to talk about the Chiefs and the favoritism they get from the refs. But now you got actual NFL personalities saying it,
yeah,
and I feel like at some point Goodell or the NFL has to come out and say like either no, we're not favoring the Chiefs with some of these calls, which then sets them up in the event that if anybody finds out they are, now all of a sudden they're liable and they're caught lying, or they got to come out and just say, like, I don't know. I don't know.
it's one of the, it's
It's a
tough. It's
tricky
like a tough.
situation.
Yeah, like what do you do? Like it I guess it's
Yeah.
something for the
There's no
NFL to
way to
decide
kind of,
because
yeah, there's no way to, make a real rule change, but I don't know. Or they just tell the refs, listen, if you see a quarterback slow down as he's going out of bounds, don't throw the flag. If he wants to get out of bounds, he can sprint out of bounds and then, stop.
yeah,
But
that's
if you
another
see
thing.
him
It's just
slowing
hard.
down while still in play, you're still an eligible, runner, especially if he's scrambling. I mean, I don't know. We'll
But
see how
that's the thing though,
see
because
how it
it's like
goes.
I'm trying to say, and like the most non obviously like I've had my bias against the Chief, whatever. But I'm trying to say this in like a non-biased thing. Even if you're like giving yourself up, running out of bounds, whatever, like that should be legal, obviously, because he's a runner. But it's the diving. Like I feel like that's like the worst part of it, and
Hmm
so many like it's just gotten as like I get it. Beginning of the season, people were like, "Oh, that's a dive," but it didn't like look too dramatic, whatever.
Yeah.
Now he's literally supermaning out of bounds and getting 15 yards.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And like the thing with the NFL is they always say they're going to implement these rules and then they don't. They said they were going to implement hip drop tackle rules. Haven't seen that at all.
Yeah,
There
that went
was
well.
there was a textbook definition of a hip drop tackle by a Chiefs defender in this Chiefs Texans game. Was it called? No, not at all. It's just I don't know. It's tough because I understand that where they're coming from. They want to make the game safer, like in the hip drop tackle situation. Same with not hitting somebody out of bounds, but at the same time, it I don't know. It's damaging the product at this point. I
Yeah,
mean, people are still tuning in to watch, but people are talking about how Mahomes and the Chiefs get certain calls that other teams don't. I mean, the hit that Jared Goff took in the Commanders Lions game, which we'll get to next. If that happened to Patrick Mahomes, that defender is getting a lifetime ban from the NFL.
yeah,
I mean, you can't hit Patrick Mahomes like Jared Goff got hit and expect to still play next week.
yeah.
That's I don't know. It's getting ridiculous, so we'll see. But either way, Said we were going to get to Commanders Lions next. We'll get to it now as number 1 seed, Detroit, officially down, and Bruce, you were confident in these Detroit
Dude,
Lions.
I knew you were going to bring this up too, dude. Bro, that's like,
you were very confident.
Jaden Daniels, round of applause. I didn't think, I'll be straight up, I did not think the Commanders were going to be able to drop more than 25 points this game.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened. De'Ami Brown is like the GOAT.
You heard what Amon-Ra was saying.
Yeah, like it's insane. Detroit decided they wanted to have 7 quarterbacks. Like, I don't really understand what was going on.
Williams throwing the ball downfield.
Yeah, bro.
David Montgomery threw a pass.
Like, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like, I don't know. Jahmyr Gibbs popped off. They barely used Sonic. They barely used Knuckles. They only used Sonic.
Montgomery only had 7 rushes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but De'Ami Brown's just become a stud all of a sudden. Like, I don't really know what happened that game besides obviously turnovers. Turnovers was a big name of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jaden Daniels looked like the man.
He did, and it's impressive. I mean, I will say this makes it even more impressive. I got to see if I can find the tweet real quick. But it was all the other quarterbacks who went to a championship game in their rookie year and basically where their defense was rated scoring wise. And I'll try and find it real quick, but it was guys like Mark Sanchez. Jets had the 3rd best scoring defense. Ben Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh had the 3rd best scoring defense. Brock Purdy, San Fran had the 1st best scoring defense. There's a bunch of names like that. And how their defenses were top 3 in scoring. And then there's Jaden Daniels, who has the Washington Commanders, well, not him, but the Washington Commanders themselves are ranked 18th in the league in scoring defense.
Yeah.
And he led them to the NFC Championship.
Yeah. And I hope that I'm not going to jump the gun yet, but I want to see them in the big game. I want to see them make the Super Bowl. Jaden Daniels has my all right respect. I mean, he had my respect all season long. Man's the man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, their defense showed up, dude. What's his face?
Mm-hmm.
The Sainristil guy, whatever. I don't even know how to say his
Mike
name.
Sainristil, the one with the interceptions.
Yeah.
He's a rookie.
Picks. He exactly. Dude, half their defense I feel like was rookies. Like, when you like the thing at the beginning of the game where it pops up and they're like, Jaden Daniels, LSU. Like, that thing that pops up, bro. I swear, like, half of them.
All of them had the lower
their name, dude. I'm like, what?
They're young, they're hungry, they get the job done. And
Brian Robinson looked all good. Like, he looked
did
decent.
77 yards on the ground.
I feel like all season long.
Not bad. And the other quarterbacks to do it, I mentioned Brock Purdy, Sanchez, Joe Flacco, 3rd best scoring defense. Sean King, 3rd best scoring defense. Roethlisberger 1st. And then Jaden Daniels at 18th. So he's not just, getting carried to this game by the backs of a great defense. Detroit still had 31 points in this game.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you score 31.
Low for the Lions.
Yeah, it's low for the Lions, but for the rest of the league, that's a solid game. The Kansas City Chiefs haven't scored 30 points all season long. Not a single time. And they're still winning games. So for a team like Detroit, you'd think, all right, we put up 31, especially, they were injured on defense, but they have a good defense under Aaron Glenn. You'd think 31 points, that's enough to get the victory, right? No, not at all. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders put up 45.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous, man.
Dude, it was just insane. Because I remember I was at work. I was kind of watching the game, kind of, whatever, because I was at work.
Peeking every now and again.
Yeah, I wasn't at work. I was doing something. I don't remember what I was doing. Doing something important. But and I just remember looking at halftime. It was 31-21 Commanders, and I was like, "Holy!" And so I turned the game on, and it was just, dude, that game was awesome. First off,
Jared Goff,
that game was just awesome. He was terrible, but that game was awesome. The game was awesome.
It was a shootout.
We'll die on that hill. Yeah.
Especially that second quarter where they were just going drive for drive, back to back, each scoring both ways. That was exciting football. Not if you're the type that likes a low scoring defensive grind it out, I should say, ground and pound game. But if you like high octane, action packed, slinging the rock kind of offense, this was the game for you. And Jaden Daniels, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns as a rookie in the divisional round of the playoffs. It is incredibly impressive. And the fact that he's been able to do this without, not to disrespect their receiving core, because De'Ami Brown having a breakout year. Terry
Yeah.
McLaurin had over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. He's certainly still solid. Then you get to these other guys, Jamison Crowder.
Jameson Crowder.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
he's been in the league
Olamide.
for a while. He's
Zacchaeus.
he's he's still there, but Zach Ertz is probably like 38 at this point.
He's become a touchdown machine the past few weeks.
Yeah, he
That guy
has.
has
He
been
had
getting in
one
the
in
end
this game.
zone every
He's
day.
34 years old, still playing tight end in the divisional round of the playoffs. Somehow he's still making things work. And the backfield, yeah, Brian Robinson had a great game, 2 touchdowns, 77 yards. Austin Eckler did actually, with his limited carries, did solid at 47
Yeah.
yards. But, this offense, if you look at the names of their weapons, it doesn't scream, oh, they're Super Bowl contenders. It doesn't scream they have, top offense in the league. But Jaden Daniels has turned, this room of, I'm not going to say nobodies, but this room of average players, if you will, and has, made them great. De'Ami Brown getting close to 100 receiving yards in a playoff game, nobody would have bet that in a million years, I don't think. If you bet De'Ami Brown over on receiving yards, call the number, because I don't think anybody would have in their right mind bet that, but it would have hit. And Jade, that's all credit to Jaden Daniels and even
He had
Cliff
300
Kingsbury. And
receiving yards in the regular season.
there you go. He had a third.
300 receiving yards
He had
in
a third of his receiving yards throughout the whole season in this game. That's insane.
Bruh.
He's just getting hot at the right time. And with the Lions, I got to be honest, I think their window's closed. I think it's officially, last year was probably their best chance. This year, they had another very good chance. It's unfortunate their defense had all those injuries, but
Yeah.
they already lost Ben Johnson. So I think we're going to see a much different Lions offense next year, depending on who they get to replace him, because he made that offense great, number one in the league. They might lose Aaron Glenn as well, the defensive coordinator. So now you're replacing both coordinators. Eventually, Jared Goff is going to want to get paid. And I don't know how long he is under contract, but you got guys that are going to want to get paid, whether it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, whoever it may be. Guys are going to want to get paid soon, and you're not going to be able to keep all of these guys that you have on your team. Everything is pointing in signs that the Lions window is closing, and it's unfortunate, but I don't think they're going to be able to get it done next year, especially with all these other teams getting better. The Packers, the Eagles, the Commanders, the Vikings, all these teams are just going to keep getting better. And I think the Lions are getting worse.
Yeah. I wouldn't say getting worse yet.
But they're
think
going to.
Yeah, I think we'll have to see. I get what you're saying. No, yeah, this was definitely probably one of their better opportunities. And takeaways for the Lions, turnovers, and is this team ready for big moments?
Yeah. Yeah, we saw in the NFC Championship last year, they had that chance up 17 in the second half and blew it to the Niners. So that tells me they weren't ready for that big moment. And now, first game of the playoffs, hosting. It's your first time hosting a playoff game since I don't believe they hosted one. No, they must have hosted one last year. They were a high enough seed, but still, it's your first time hosting playoff games in God knows how long. And you go one and done in a year where you went 15-2. Your only losses were to, who did they lose to? They lost to the Bills, and they lost to
the Buccaneers. I'm pretty sure.
Yep, and the Buccaneers week 2.
Yeah.
Two playoff teams, and you're going one and done to a rookie quarterback. It was certainly a rough loss for the Lions,
but hey, all hail Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, all hail Jaden Daniels, and hopefully he gets another win, because I certainly don't want to see his opponent in the Super Bowl. That being, as we get to the Sunday night games, the Rams and Eagles. and I do not want to see the Eagles in the Super Bowl
Neither do
for
I.
obvious reasons.
Yeah, you got different reasons than I got.
Yeah.
But
I
I don't
hate
know.
Philly, man. I hate Philly. I'm with Jared Verse. I hate Philly fans. I'm completely biased in that, being a Cowboys fan and all, but that's just how I feel.
Hey, that's definitely fair. I mean, it's just I mean, takeaways. What? Who's gonna stop Saquon Barkley? Like, what's the takeaways out of
Oh
this?
my god.
Like who can play it on the same field as Saquon Barkley? Like, what? Dude,
Well, okay,
this
I will say
guy's
this about
nuts.
Saquon. I will say this. You look at his stats and his 2 big rushing touchdowns. He had one for 62 yards in the first quarter and one for 78 yards in the fourth quarter. 62 plus 78. I did this math yesterday.
140.
140. 140
Quick
of his
maths.
2. Yeah, exactly. He had 205 total yards on the day. You take away that 140 from those 2 big runs, and he has 24 carries for 65 yards and 0 touchdowns.
Yeah,
So if you limit the big play, no, I know. Yeah, he still got him. But if the Rams could limit the big play, we could be talking about a completely different story, because it was those 2 breakaway runs that really set him up for having such a big game. Now, granted, they could have just ran the ball with him all the way down the field anyway, and he would have had like 40 carries and the same amount of yards. But still, if you can stop those big breakaway runs, and that's the key with this Eagles team, you got to force Jalen Hurts to beat you. The man in 4 playoff wins in his career with the Eagles has not thrown for more than 155 yards. Not a single time. So if you force Jalen Hurts to beat you, if you can somehow contain Saquon and, hold him to 150 yards instead of 200 and just no big breakaways, you'll live with that. I mean, Jalen Hurts has to be the one to beat you if you want any chance at beating this Philadelphia Eagles team.
And I think it was Sean McVay that said it. He's like, we knew going into this game we couldn't run cover 1 because Saquon's been cooking cover 1, and then they ran cover 1, and then he got a 60-something yard touchdown. I was like, brother.
So the Rams are idiots.
He goes, well, he even said it. He's like, it was like a certain like down, and we're like cover 1, like this is the best opportunity. I think it was Sean McVay that said it, but okay, don't quote me on that. But he's like, yeah, so we ran cover 1, and next thing you know, Saquon Barkley's in the end zone.
Like, what are you thinking, man? He ran for 255 yards last time he played this Rams team, 300 yards from scrimmage.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
knew.
That's why I think that's why he said it. He was like, we knew because we ran cover 1. We ran cover 1 against him last time, so they're like, let's not do that again.
And then what do? They run cover 1, and Saquon ends up with 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I mean, the fact that the Rams still had a chance late, says something, because they really should have been out of this game. Eagles had the chance to put the dagger in multiple times, and especially, Saquon gets the big touchdown run. They're up 2 possessions. Great. That should be the dagger. They let LA go down and score, and then they follow it up by having to punt the ball back. So they gave the Rams an opportunity, and of course, it came down to 4th down. Stafford couldn't connect with Puka, and that was it. I mean, but if you're the Rams too, I mean, where the hell was Cooper Kupp? He had decent games, 5 for 61, but
last 5 weeks though, like it's like, where has Cooper Kupp been all season?
Like, listen,
now he's saying he doesn't know if the Rams are in his future.
Yeah, like, listen, there's no reason Tyler Higbee should be having more targets than Cooper Kupp. All right, there's no need for Demarcus Robinson to have the same number of targets as Cooper Kupp. This man won a triple crown in wide receivers, 2-3 years ago? Like, this guy is still solid. I know he was injured a little bit earlier on in the season, but he's back and he's playing. You got to use that, man. I mean, whatever you got to do to get him involved in the offense. Puka. Yeah. And, you look at it, Puka had 6 receptions on 14 targets. Yeah. That's not great.
I mean, conditions, like the fact that Matt Stafford had to throw the ball 44
the conditions made it a lot worse. In those
conditions, like, I guess, obviously you're professionals, you do this for a living. I feel like you can kind of a little bit of slack in those conditions. Yeah. But, because having to throw the ball
that wasn't where the big mistakes came either. Yeah, the big mistakes came from the fumbles due to the snow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kyron had one, Stafford had one.
Yep.
It was it was rough down the stretch with the turnovers, and it was the worst timing too, because as you're trying to make that second half comeback, those kind of turnovers are deflating to a team.
Yeah.
Absolute momentum killers. And yeah, Philadelphia, they will host the Washington Commanders in the NFC East Bowl next week,
Yeah.
and hopefully, fingers crossed, the Commanders win. Because as a Cowboys fan, I got and I don't know if Oksano's still watching, our Cowboys fan in the chat here. I don't know if he feels the same way, but I got no bad blood for the Commanders like I do for the Eagles or even the Giants. Like the Commanders, they were irrelevant in the division for so long. They completely reshaped this organization from top to bottom, starting with the owner all the way down to the equipment manager. And they're reaping the benefits. They're good now. They're going to be good for quite some time. And I'm okay with that. I got yeah, exactly. I got no beef with the Commanders. So I'm rooting for them over the Eagles. But either way, I just want to see an AFC team win. Even if it's the Chiefs, I don't even care. As a Cowboys fan, I just don't want the NFC East to win the Super Bowl.
See, I don't even know who to cheer for, bro. I think out of
you're in a bad spot here.
I think out of
the Commanders, that's your team right
left,
now.
I want the Commanders. Yeah,
well, I feel like that's most of America too.
Yeah, because no, I don't want the Bills. Thank you very much, but I also don't want the Chiefs. So it's and the Eagles don't really want the Eagles either. So who do I pick? I guess I'm going with the Commanders.
Yeah, you gotta hope.
Lions, so
that is true. They did knock off your pick in the Lions. So hopefully the Commanders make you happy. I'd be okay with it as long literally anybody but the Eagles. But the crazy part is that when situations like this happen, I always go, there's 4 teams left. There's one that I don't want to win. Please don't let it be them. It's always them.
Yeah.
I think the last time it happened was when the Patriots lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And I was like, out of all these teams, anybody but Philly. And of course,
I had to love that.
Of course, Nick Foles. Oh, I know. I was talking.
Game.
I was talking to a couple of my boys that are Patriots fans the other day about it. And I was like, I was probably a bigger Patriots fan than you that day. I know that's your team, and these guys are like diehard. I know, but I was just as big as a Patriots fan as you guys were that day, especially facing the Eagles. But anyways, we'll move on to the next game as we're getting a couple Go Bills in the chat here. And Bruce, I know you're not rooting for the Bills, but
no,
they're back. They're back. And honestly, this Ravens Bills game was probably the game of the playoffs so far, if you ask me. This one was 100%. Back and forth. Phenomenal game. I mean, it was, the first half could have been a little bit more back and forth. The Bills were up 21-10 going into the halftime break, but
yeah,
the Ravens clawed their way back, and man, you got to feel for Mark Andrews after that game. Absolutely
takeaways for the Ravens are the Ravens didn't look terrible. They played in a good game, and then they had a wide open 2-point conversion dropped by Mr. Hands, buddy who's fumbled twice in his career. Buddy who has some of the best hands.
He did, and he had a fumble in this game too.
That's what I'm saying. That was his second fumble.
That was
his career.
Wow.
That was his second fumble in his career.
Yeah. And I understand everybody that's mad at Mark Andrews, but some of the way that I saw people attacking this dude on social media and attacking his wife, it crossed a line.
Social media
absolutely
goes
crossed
way
the line.
too far, dude. And even Lamar. I was gonna say, even Lamar went to the press conference and was like, "This isn't just on Mark." He also looked like Frozone, but he went to he went like the white the
little white.
Yeah, dude, he looked like Frozone.
But buddy, where's my super suit?
Exactly. So it's like, I mean, even Lamar was like, it's not just on Mark, it's on the whole team. Like we didn't win the game. Like we lost by 2, but like it wasn't just the 2. Could have done something else. You know what I mean? So it's like they can't just flame Mark Andrews as much as that's like the big thing.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know if I can really blame the snow for this one either. As we get that question,
the snow wasn't terrible.
at that point the snow wasn't, and it's not like it's not like it wasn't a pass that he had to reach out and just catch with his hands. It was right in his
He had
stomach.
to
It had
cradle it.
him.
He just had to
Yeah,
cradle it.
all he had to do was go like this, and the ball was caught. I think he got a little concerned with making sure he got to the pylon and
He was
actually
in
got
the
in
end
the end
zone. That's
zone.
the
I know,
thing.
I know, I know. I don't think he knew that he was actually in the end zone and was concerned with falling down and being short. So he was thinking, trying to reach before he got the ball, and yeah, it was brutal. And you got to feel for Lamar Jackson too, because now he's going to have an off season of memes and people clowning him and saying he can't get it done in the playoffs. And yeah, his first half turnovers were bad. You can't turn the ball over 3 times and expect to win. But he had the opportunity and he did his job with that opportunity the last drive before the failed 2-point conversion. He led them down the field and got a touchdown and could have tied the game. What I don't understand is you have Derek mother freaking Henry in the
Yeah.
backfield at 6'4", 245 pounds,
Yeah.
somewhere around there's who
Yeah,
you
give or
just
take.
signed for situations like this. My bad, 6'2", 247. Same thing. Give him the ball and let him just run into the end zone. I don't understand the play call. Like, did we not learn from the Seahawks and Malcolm Butler? Why are we not running the ball from the 2-yard line to tie the game? And yes, Derrick Henry should have been a Cowboy, but Jerry Jones is too cheap. They couldn't afford him.
I saw something and it compared Lamar to Peyton Manning.
Mm,
I can't find it. It was like they both were 3 for 5, 3-5 in their playoff career. None of them.
yep.
Um, I can't find it. I swear I just
I can
saw it too. Where'd it
I
go?
can imagine. Yeah, like I can see the similarities in my head because just like I got it right here. First 7 NFL seasons, Peyton Manning, Lamar Jackson, 3-5 in the playoffs, multi-time MVP, but no Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, yeah, there we go. You found it before me. Oh, right here. I just found it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good point. Peyton Manning is obviously regarded as one of the best quarterbacks of that generation. He didn't win for a little bit, and it's a similar story to I think it's a little bit more similar to Josh Allen than Lamar Jackson, but I guess you do have the multi MVP thing that makes it more like Lamar. But either way, you could make the comparison to Lamar
Should
and to
have been
Josh
a
Allen.
cowboy.
That, excuse me,
Should
that,
have
you know,
rode. Sorry, it's
chicken parm,
Tony's
you
thing.
taste so good.
Oh no, I was thinking I should have been a
No,
cowboy.
no, I know, but Peyton Manning just got me thinking of
Oh
good old
yeah.
good old
The
commercials.
FanDuel kick a dream. What is it? Kick a dreams, kick a destiny. I don't know. I think I took
That,
Eli.
oh, jeez, nah, it's gonna be Peyton. But yeah,
Probably.
Peyton Manning did not win for a while. It wasn't until 06 that he finally beat Tom Brady and got that chip off of his shoulder. Josh
Yeah.
Allen now has that opportunity. Lamar had it, failed to get it done last year. Now Josh Allen, it's his turn. And we've seen this story the last 4 seasons where, these guys meet Mahomes in the playoffs. Mahomes always wins somehow. This might be the year that Josh Allen gets it done.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
thought that
know.
about the Lions.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, brother,
That's
I don't
true.
know what it is with the Chiefs.
I know.
I don't know who I want to win this game.
You are really torn here.
Like, because dude,
Why not the
I
Bills? The
don't.
Bills haven't won it yet. Give
No,
them
no,
something. Just
no,
give them
no,
something, man.
no,
You guys
no.
have like 6 or 7 in Foxborough. Just give the Bills one. Bills
Six.
Mafia deserves it.
No, no, no. I can't. I can't get it out of my mouth. It won't come out. It won't come out. It won't come out.
Dude, I almost
I think
threw
I'm
up
just
yesterday
rooting.
saying that the Eagles were going to beat the Commanders.
Oh,
It's just it's awful. I understand, but I'm trying not to be.
I
I'm
can't
trying
say
to
it.
only be
I
a
think the
little
Bill.
bit biased.
I think the Bills will win the game. I think the Bills will win the game.
So you are taking the
I'm
Bills.
not saying who I want to win the game, but I think as a statistical fan of football, that I think the Bills will win
What's
the
the
football
spread
game.
looking like? Kansas City's only
Two and a
minus
half,
2.
two. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I'm betting for my parlay that game. That's what I'm betting for.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
We're betting for our franchise player on Madden.
Yeah, literally,
But
dude. Like,
I don't know.
ugh,
It's gonna be a good one. That's for sure. I don't know, man.
it's the
I don't
worst
know. I just
playoffs to be a fan.
theoretically, we're sitting right now. I guess we can, dive more into the previews later on this week on the Thursday or Friday edition. But for now, we've got Commanders Eagles. You're rooting for Commanders. I'm also rooting Commanders. Bills Chiefs. I know you're torn. I don't care. I don't
I'm
have a
not
dog in
picking.
this fight. You're not picking.
I'm not picking. I
So
refuse.
Bruce is actually rooting for that scene out of The Dark Knight Rises where the football stadium just explodes mid kickoff return.
Yes,
That is what
but
Bruce is
nobody, but
rooting for in the
nobody
AFC
gets injured.
Championship. See, that's what I'm rooting for in the NFC Championship.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, no, I am abstaining from the NFC or from the AFC Championship.
All right, good man, good man. I understand. I guess I'm gonna pull for the Bills just because I would
That's
like to
cool.
see. I would like to see a team besides the Chiefs get in there, but on the other hand, I'm confident that the Chiefs would beat the Eagles if the Eagles beat the Commanders. I don't know how confident I am in the Bills beating them, just because I think the Bills are also the better team than the Eagles, but the Chiefs just find ways to win. I
I
mean,
don't see
the
anybody
Bills
beating
don't
the
have the same.
Commanders, so
Yeah, well, you said the same thing about the Lions, and look where we are. But
that was a fluke.
that wasn't Bruce. That was Juice.
Yeah, Juice came out. Juice is coming. No, Bruce is coming back
Juice
right now
came
and
out.
saying, don't
Oh
care out of the
man.
AFC. I
Oh,
hate
buddy.
being a football fan right now.
I know. Well,
Especially if Dave Daniels loses.
Speaking of hating being a football fan, yesterday I was out. We were doing a show for radio, and you already know what I'm teasing up here. You already got it up. I was with my buddy who I work with, who is a big Notre Dame fan. He had his Irish sweatshirt on. We hung out at the bar we were doing the show from for an hour or two after the fact to watch the game, and he was struggling. He was certainly struggling. It was a rough game for the Fighting Irish, at least in the first half. They made it close at the end there, but the Ohio State Buckeyes,
the first
the
half,
Buckeyes are your national champions. 34-23 the final. And you're right. I mean, they couldn't stop a nosebleed in the first half, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They were getting run all over. The Ohio State offensive line was mean this playoff.
Yeah.
And I think that all comes as a result of losing to Michigan and that team getting called out, the O-line especially getting called out. And you saw a different team in the playoffs for Ohio State.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Notre Dame didn't have a run game besides the fact that they wanted to be like, 3rd and 11 QB draw. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the play calling was. Like, props to Freeman on making it this far. Like, don't get me wrong, great coach.
They had a great season, but
great coach, great season. Thinks he deserves a lot of respect. But some of the play calls, and he even took blame for a lot of the play calls. Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's 3rd and 11. Well, first off, we're gonna kick a field goal down 3 scores with 9 minutes left.
Yeah.
And then, God forbid we miss it. Oh, we missed it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got to try and keep getting the ball back somehow. And then they have an opportunity. They're down. What is it? 8. They're down.
They were down 8.
They're down 8.
Yeah, they were down 8. They were down 8.
Okay, they were down 8.
You're talking about the third down, yeah.
Yeah. They're down 8. It's 3rd and 11, right? They just need to stop. Let's send 7 guys at the quarterback and leave our 3rd string corner one-on-one.
Was he actually the 3rd string?
On the field. I don't know. I haven't heard that day in my life, dude. Like,
yeah,
brother.
that was a bad play call. Because listen, the big thing for me previewing this game was Notre
This is
Dame
kid
runs
crazy.
the most man coverage out of any team in college football. They run man coverage
Which is
64% of the
fine.
time.
Which is fine. Like,
Ohio State kills man coverage, though. You look at the game against
who
Texas
is this
last week
guy?
and why Jeremiah Smith was a non-factor. It's because they played a safe zone the entire game. It's 3rd and 11. You need one stop for a chance to save your season and tie the national championship up in the
Here
fourth
he
quarter.
is.
And you run man coverage. I understand Marcus Freeman didn't want to switch up his whole play style. He trusts his guys out there. I don't care if it's the best corner in the nation. You don't leave someone one-on-one with Jeremiah Smith on the last play of the game, or not the last play of the game, but the last play that you need a stop for, and then you can go and tie the game.
Okay, so he's
It was
not a
just
third
a
string,
ridiculous
but
call. He's second string.
he had a 99-yard pick six this year. So
All right.
but he's a sophomore. I mean,
Either way,
I
you
don't
shouldn't
know,
be playing
man.
man coverage there anyway.
Bro, run
Jeremiah Smith
cover two and send 5. Like,
Yep. Jeremiah Smith
I was
already
literally
had a
saying
touchdown
that
on the day.
as the play was happening. I was literally sitting there. I was just chilling. I was talking to some buddies. We're watching the game at the same time. We're like, oh, Notre Dame might come back. Sweet, it's cool. And then 3rd and 11, they're gonna get an opportunity to come back and tie it. I'm literally sitting there. I'm like, all right, run like cover 2, send 5, send 4, maybe. I don't care. Send 4 or 5. All of a sudden, I see not just them send 7, they send a delayed blitz. Not even an all-out blitz. They send a delayed blitz after Will Howard when Jeremiah Smith had already got Christian Gray torched. Like, brother, what? Huh? Like,
It was a bad play call.
they sent 7 out of their 11 guys on the field in a delayed blitz.
You can blitz that many and still run zone coverage too. You can still have a deep safety over top, blanketing any deep bombs, but
you don't need to. It's 3rd and
one-on-one
11.
man coverage.
Get 2 safeties up top. Just run zone. Run cover 2. Send 4.
Yeah. Run a
you
cover
don't even
3
have to
zone.
Send 5. Yeah, run cover 3. Like, who cares? You don't even have to send 5. Send 4. Send 3. Who cares? You just don't let anyone catch the ball. It's that easy. And instead, they're going to send the house. Not even send the house. They're going to wait 2 seconds and then send the house. It's like, what are we doing? I didn't understand it. And you just see bottom of the screen. You see Christian Gray. And you see Jeremiah Smith just fly past him. And Will Howard literally didn't even need to make it all the way back in the pocket to get the ball out of his hands. It's like, I don't understand.
Yeah, it was a rough play call. But, Bruce, you could be a Cowboys fan and have to deal with bad play calls all season long. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That got my gears up.
I know.
Going,
I know. You are.
Play, I was like, what just happened?
Somebody put something in your coffee this morning because you have been on one today, Bruce. And I got to say, I love it. I think it makes great content for us.
Dude, it's Donnie. I don't know, dude. That one play, dude. That one play.
I know.
Just had me.
Because the thing with Notre Dame was you got to expect that they were going to get a big turnover late, and they got it with that forced fumble, and then
they kicked a field goal down 3, bro. Like,
I know.
3 scores.
I know, Bruce. It was tough to watch, but Ryan Day and the Buckeyes get it done.
Props to them.
That's the wraps on the college football season. And don't worry, my Florida Gators and DJ Lagway will be there next year. It'll be all right.
Yeah, my Syracuse Orange and dude, I don't even know.
Yeah, Syracuse, Florida national championship. Book it.
Yeah, we need a quarterback.
Let's set the futures
the draft.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Syracuse will do just fine.
Nuts.
But I guess that'll wrap things up for us here today on the regular fan show. By fans, for fans, not by former athletes, by fans, former intramural athletes, if you will. Thank you to the guys in the chat, Zach, Oksano on Twitch. Thank you guys for hanging out. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. If you guys are on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. If you're on Twitch, hit that follow. Goes a long way. Only takes a few seconds. Helps us out tremendously. Bruce, you know what time it is.
Yeah, and ding the bell.
There it is. YouTube. Ding the bell.
First off,
ding that bell on YouTube. Get those notifications
also,
on.
Yeah, follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram.
Yes.
We're awesome.
On Twitter. Yes. Throw the social plugs out there.
We're lit, dude. Like, why wouldn't you follow us? Let's be real here.
We are.
So
we are. Yeah, and TikTok is back.
TikTok is back.
We're still here. They tried to knock us down, and we stormed, and we came back.
I don't, bro. Like, they didn't even give.
We didn't send
TikTok
7 on the last play,
bro. Yeah, don't.
We didn't send 7 on a 3rd and 11. We sent a comfortable 5 and dropped 3 back in coverage, and we got the stop and got TikTok.
We got a pick 6. But
let's see if today's the day.
Airball? Today, last time was the day too.
No, I never did find my basketball.
Oh. I hit it.
The dog must have hit it somewhere. You did hit it last time. You're right. Let's see if we can go 2 for 2 as Bruce at the buzzer. He pulls an Anthony Edwards and misses at the last second.
All right, and airball.
I know. I only say that because Ant is, 0 for 14 or whatever stat I saw.
Yes.
Go ahead or game tying shots within the last 5 seconds. But not a diss at Ant. I love Ant. I love watching him play.
I think Ant's a little better than me, so
yeah, just a little bit. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in on this Tuesday Talk About It Tuesday, and we'll be back at it for a Taco About It Thursday at 11 a.m. Same place, same time. Vinny Fredericks, Bruce Juno, the regular fan show, back at it Thursday morning. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Ding that bell.
Dang it.